Let's move now to another area where syndicates, gangs seem to be really in charge. Last week, you might remember, we reported on the assassination of Chief Clyde Mnisi in Mpumalanga. Now, Mnisi was due to go on trial this month on charges of rhino poaching, murder and money laundering. He was suspected of being part of a poaching syndicate in the Kruger National Park area. But now, his widow, Charlene Felicity Mathews, has been brutally killed. And I'm joined now by the spokesperson for the police in Mpumalanga, Brigadier Selvy Mohlala. Brigadier, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, it's truly astonishing what has been happening around these assassinations. Can we start with what you're able to tell us about the killing of Charlene Mathews? When did it happen? How did it happen?
Yes, good evening, and good evening to our viewers. It's unfortunate that yesterday morning on Tuesday, at around 1:10, we received a call that there was a shooting incident that happened at that particular place. When we arrived there, indeed, that was true. We found that the wife of the late Chief Minister has been shot. Unfortunately, she passed on in that particular process. And there were two other relatives in the house that were also shot, but they were taken to the hospital. Fortunately enough, they were not killed. And it was surprising because no one has seen the perpetrators or the intruders because they came in the early hours of the morning. And then they just shot them and they left. And it seemed like nothing was taken in the house, of which it was also surprising. But we could detect through our investigation, we found cartridges for the 9mm pistol, which really suggests that the firearm that was utilized, it was a 9mm firearm.
All right. Of course, just a week or two ago, Chief Clyde Mnisi was killed. I think he'd stopped with a flat tire and he was gunned down. Are you treating both these cases as clear assassinations?
Look, for now we have not narrowed our investigation or our net in terms of investigation. We have opened it widely because anything is possible. We don't want to narrow our scope and limit our investigation. Otherwise, we might leave other things outside. What we are investigating is the two cases of murder, with the possibility that perhaps later on they might be linked. But if we find that they are linked as well, it's also not, there wouldn't be any problem as well. But we got that possibility in mind that the very same people that might have killed Chief Mnisi might be the ones who came back and attacked the wife of King Mnisi. That is highly possible. But at the same time, we cannot rule out the possibility of pure criminality. At the same time, we with the mind that this looks like an organized crime kind of a situation. So that our approach to it is very much wide, and we don't want to leave any stone unturned.
Yeah, that makes sense, that you're well aware that there's a very strong chance they may be linked. It may be linked to organized crime, but you have to keep your options open. I have to ask you a little bit more about this case. So Clyde Mnisi was one of the people who was due to, I think, go on trial next month or later this month around the rhino poaching syndicate. My understanding is he's not the first person to be killed linked to arrests around this particular syndicate. And in fact, I think at least two other people have been killed who were due to be part of this trial. One of them, a former police officer, if I'm not mistaken. Can you talk to me about this case? What happens to this case now with the assassination or the death of Clyde Mnisi?
Look, let me put it in this particular way. The investigation into the criminal cases or criminal charges against the late Mnisi, they were investigated by the Hawks. But indeed, it was true that he was due to appear in court later this month with regard to various charges that were leveled against him, which amongst them include theft. The other one is the issue of rhino poaching, as you have just alluded to. But safe to say that yes, there were other people that he was aligned with, or he was charged along with. Some of them they've passed on. There's another one, Mshengu. No popular known as Mshengu, it's Mr. Mabuza. But the investigation continues. We are not going to to leave it just like that, because Chief Mnisi has passed on and saying that we are not continuing with the investigation. We will continue with our investigation. I think they will run parallel. It will be this one of his murder, but at the same time, our counterparts from the side of the DPCI will continue with the investigation from their side until they get the gist of the whole thing.
Yeah. So there's clearly a strong focus, and as you say, it's a number of different teams involved in trying to get to the bottom of the suspected rhino poaching syndicates. It's sad really, because we've also heard at the same time that there's been significant progress made in dealing with rhino poaching in Kruger National Park. It seems though these syndicates, if indeed these murders are linked, are working very hard to keep information under wraps. If, from your estimation, working with the police and dealing with these cases, is it becoming more violent? Are we seeing more of these killings? Just give us your assessment.
Firstly, we wouldn't say these killings are related to rhino poaching. There's no conclusive evidence that we can say that killings are related to them. But we would notice that of late there were a couple of statements that we issued whereby there were a number of poachers that were sentenced after being arrested or after being found with rhino horns, especially in the Kruger National Park. So there's a progress in terms of the investigation of these particular cases. Safe to say that I think the DPCI will be in a good position to elaborate more in terms of the developments, especially with regard to this one of Chief Mnisi. But I can safely say, indeed, we have made progress in terms of arresting the suspect that have been linked to issues of rhino poaching.
And finally, just to come full circle back to this latest murder of Charlene Mathews, the wife of Clyde Mnisi, do you have anyone in particular you're looking for? Do you have any eyewitnesses who can tell you who you should be looking for? Do you have any clue where to start?
For now, the beginning of the investigation is it's at home to get the information from the family members in terms of the what really transpired on that particular night. But over and above that, if then they would have the suspects from their side, that could be able to assist in terms of giving us the lead. But safe to say that the Provincial Commissioner of Mpumalanga has established a dedicated team of investigators to focus on this particular matter. And I hope that sooner than later they'll be able to crack this particular case. We've got the history of breaking down cases that are very much of high profile in caliber, and those that seem to be difficult. I hope even this one is not going to be difficult for us to crack it. Just unfortunately, the time space where the killing of the Chief Mnisi as well as his widow, it happens within a short period of time, and it was back to back. While we never had enough time to go on back to the office and do our investigation. But we hope, starting from this week, since they have established this particular team, the team is on the ground as we speak. Sooner or later, we'll be announcing the breakthrough in terms of this particular case.
Oh, let's hope so, and we'll look out for it. Thank you so much for sharing with us the information that you do have at this point. Much appreciated. That's a spokesperson for the police in Mpumalanga.